Hey everybody, this is John with the Active Towns channel, and I'm in Salt Lake City today, and I have a very special guest with me. Hey, let's swing this camera around and we'll get some introductions going. Troy, thank you so much for joining me today and showing me around your fine city. Please, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Troy Saltiel. I'm a volunteer board member for the advocacy organization Sweet Streets.
Sweet Streets, I love that. What a great name for an organization. Talk a little bit about the organization. How long has it been around?
Yeah, it's been about 5 years or so.
Okay.
The story that I've heard, and I wasn't here for the very beginning of it. But the story I've heard was that we had someone running for city council, and he was talking about street improvements and safety.
Yeah.
And what I heard was that he didn't want to say that we want safer streets. He said we want sweet streets. And so that's having the trees, it's having amenities, all these type of things.
Yeah.
So not just adding a bike lane or adding a sidewalk, but actually improving the streetscape and making it a place that people want to be.
You know, I like that too, because, you know, when we focus too much on like safety stuff, it kind of like loses the fact that we want livable and lovable places. Yeah. So the alliteration of sweet streets is kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we sometimes get confused with there's a treat company called Sweet Street, I believe.
Okay.
So once in a while people are like, sweet treats? Like, no, sorry. We're Sweet Streets.
Yeah.
We should have a bake sale though.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, there you go. Very much on point. So, you know, we've got one of the premier downtown parks here in our backdrop here in Pioneer Park. Talk a little bit about the downtown area of Salt Lake City and, you know, some of the work that you all are doing as an advocacy organization to make the city overall, not only downtown, but also out in the neighborhoods, you know, just a little bit more livable and lovable.
Yeah, our downtown is one of the ones that are really expanding, even throughout, you know, some changes during COVID. Salt Lake City has just been, it's a really active outdoor city. So there's still lots of people moving here regardless of what's happening throughout the country. So the city has been putting in some infrastructure recently. So you may have seen some in other interviews, and maybe we'll see some here soon. So they've been finally getting some bikeways down. One of the projects that we worked on was the 200 South bike and transit corridor. Okay. So the city brought to the table the potential to add bus lanes onto a pretty major transit corridor, 200 South. And so we were able to successfully keep those in the plan. Right. There are a couple different options. We have a pretty good option. They have buffered bike lanes that channel behind the bus islands generally. And it kind of provides some intersection protection. Yeah. And that bus route too, it's just night and day difference. You used to have just your classic kind of pole in the grass and maybe a shelter, but now there's actually a full platform island. They're adding even display boards. And they're a lot more active now. I actually live on that corridor, so
you do? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's been great, and they've added some of the corner islands to help for pedestrian safety as well. So it's been like a night and day difference. I haven't had anyone turn into me on a right on red when I'm walking to the grocery store. So it's really great to see that.
Fantastic. And we are rolling out here at a little after 6 p.m. We can see that there's quite a bit of traffic here, motor vehicle traffic on the streets. So we're going to actually see what it's like out here during the busy time, which is great. So let's roll out. Let's talk a little bit about things as we go. Let's go to a couple of key locations that you'd like to profile in the context of the work that you all are doing and how you help facilitate and backdrop and help support city staff being able to do things and really sending that message further up the chain to your representatives, your elected officials, as to what it is you would like to see as a community group. And then also along the way we'll talk a little bit about how you're helping to garner support and enhance awareness within the community as well.
Yeah, perfect. Let's roll.
All right, let's do it. When we look at sidewalks in North America, it's kind of all over the place as to who's responsible for the sidewalks and how does that work. How is the city structured in that way? Is the sidewalk the responsibility of the property owner?
So it generally is. I believe they have a 50-50 program that people can apply to. Yeah. But usually when they redo a street, they'll come through and they'll just replace it. Right. As far as I'm aware. Yeah. So when they reconstruct a street, they'll go check and see if anything is wrong with the sidewalk condition. There is a little piece of infrastructure that made it through. So maybe we'll go in the street here.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that the city of Denver has recently tried to formalize having the city take over the care and feeding and maintenance of sidewalks. And I think that that's, to me, as a public health professional, it's always just been bizarre to me that the city would consider the sidewalk as part of their right-of-way from a mobility and transportation perspective, but then turn over the responsibility of the management and maintenance of it over to the individual property owners. Just always seemed curiously stupid and senseless to me.
So we're gonna cut here. This is partially complete infrastructure.
Right.
And then we're gonna go over here. Yeah, our other big discussion here in Salt Lake, we are pretty much a desert climate, more or less, but we do get quite a bit of snow. We'll get something like 50 inches of snow in a year.
Oh, really?
And so there's also discussion of like, why aren't we plowing the sidewalks? Like, why are we having everyone go out and do that personally? Whereas our streets are, plowed by, they're plowed very diligently.
Yeah. And now, have you lived in the area for a while now?
It's been about 5 years that I've lived here.
5 years in Salt Lake City, and are you from the area originally, or?
No, I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Delaware, New Jersey.
Ah, okay.
We're gonna roll up here and talk about some infrastructure, good infrastructure, and one piece that kind of got cut out from us, unfortunately. So 300 West has one of our newer bikeways. Further down south, when you get to 900 South, there's a grade separated path that actually goes all the way down to almost 2100 South. And it pretty much it narrowed up more or less a strode, and it also added a grade separated bike path. It's a place that I would go to a lot, and there's no way I would ever bike there before they put that in. But I believe the city may have gotten some state funding. I could be wrong about it, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened, to extend it on street from 900 South all the way up the 400 South, and they actually were able to work with the Utah Department of Transportation to try to extend it up one more block, and that's significant because Utah Department of Transportation, and I'll call them UDOT, they own this block, and then over there it switches to city property.
Got it.
This street also UDOT, so they were able to work with them to get it extended up this way. And then we had a last second change, maybe 3 weeks or so before they were actually about to build it. And it got crossed out. They literally updated the plan, and it just had a red box crossed out. This was removed through the UDOT, essentially. So it was very frustrating. We were so excited. It's like one of the best projects. Like, there's nothing better than a project that literally just adds a bikeway. That the actual construction mess is usually caused by utilities. That's what makes things take 2 years. But you can throw this down in the summer. And that's, as you see, they've done that already, and they're still kind of building it out and need to do some striping. But it was pretty refreshing to see it get kind of mixed on this block, especially because our bike valet for the farmers markets is set up right here. And so you're at the intersection of two highways, and you kind of have to meander through the crowded people in the farmers market, or take the sidewalk, and there's just people everywhere, there's cars everywhere. So it would have been a really great connection. It still is an amazing connection, but
Now, and obviously we rolled in on park infrastructure over here for this one block segment. That's fine, but it's not the same as having, protected infrastructure in the roadway. Obviously there's plenty of space here. From an advocacy perspective, and given the context that you guys are in, obviously there's a lot of challenges here, and when it comes to active mobility advocacy work and creating streets for people, sometimes things get politicized. Talk a little bit about how you're negotiating that, given the reality of where you are. I mean, similar to where I am, you know, in a very, very red state, in a progressive city in Austin, Texas, you have to be aware of the fact that, you know, sometimes safe streets, sometimes sweet streets get politicized unnecessarily.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult, and we're really running right into this year. I don't think, like, in Utah, generally, safer streets, it hasn't been as politicized. It's when you kind of, like, people start bringing bikes into it specifically.
Right.
But we also have conservative, like, cyclist legislators.
Right.
And they're supportive of safer streets.
Right.
So it's kind of like an odd spot, and it shouldn't be politicized.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of it comes down to just, you know, there are certain real estate holdings and other things that kind of come into play. Property owners that want the parking on the street. Right. It's not always the people who actually live there, or even the businesses. It's always a mixture.
Right.
But I think a lot of it is trying to figure out how to work with your state DOT. And it's not easy. Yeah. I can tell you that I still don't know who I should be contacting directly.
Right.
And you kind of have to keep building at it and figuring out who you should be directing this to. And that's what we're actively doing. We unfortunately had a Utah Senate Bill 195 is what it goes by, that actually limited some of Salt Lake City's power over its streets. So now we have to have pretty much a report that transportation here sends over to UDOT, and they have to sign it off. But it's kind of pretty much opened the back door for someone to get in a legislator's ear, and then go to the DOT, and then it gets crossed out from the city plan. So it's one of those things where that's what we're working with now, and that's really tough because we're just people. Right. Like we all just work regular day jobs, whole variety of different jobs. Like, we're just doing this on our free time, and then you have other people that are definitely a lot more powerful than you politically, and they kind of work their way in. But it's about getting that awareness out, and when that hearing on that bill came out, we packed the room. We have a very robust newsletter, and so we essentially create a newsletter that's for people geeking out on street safety and projects. And so we put everything there. We share that out, and then we have just people who are just following us or on our email list. They'll be sending emails, sending letters, and going and filling out surveys and those kinds of things. So that's really powerful to be able to do that. Of course, when you get this extra layer from the state, that's when it gets tough, and you just have to keep working it.
I know. Yeah. Well, I'm reminded as we're standing here at this corner of two massive stroads that you know, cities are not noisy. Cars make cities noisy. Let's roll on. Let's get away from this mess, and we'll find some quieter places to reflect on some of the projects that you all have been, and initiatives that you have been working with.
I didn't get to it because there's too much to talk about, but this 100 South here, they're also putting a bikeway, and they got it over to 200 West, which is one of the legacy bikeways that were built. And they're taking that all the way down over the bridge, the viaduct, which is important because the train tracks, and then the highways over there too. So they're actually taking it all the way down over that way. So they're taking it down over to 900 West. So it's a pretty large extent. And then it's intersecting here as well. And so all this work here is still really great. It's going to make a huge impact on people who live here or on the other side there.
Well, but you'd mentioned it earlier, you know, state-controlled road too.
Exactly, yeah.
So you really definitely have to have that UDOT, you know, partnership of valuing that active mobility is a legitimate form of transportation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that actually happens. Very good. All right.
The other bike I have is an e-bike. Living in Salt Lake City, there's a lot of hills.
Yeah.
And especially, I'm not going to torch you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for doing that.
Relatively close to the Avenues neighborhood, and then the university is another route that I go up a little bit.
Right.
And they're on the steepest hills.
Yeah.
So it just like kind of saves you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just hopping and popping, and you're recovering from 15 minutes of exhaustion. Getting up there.
I think that's a really good point too from an advocacy perspective, because a lot of people that kind of resist change to the streetscape, they're like, well, nobody's going to actually ride. You know, we've got hills, we've got winter, all of these excuses. But one of the great things about having electric assist, you know, on a bike is that it flattens those hills. It makes really, really hot summers a little cooler. It makes really cold, you know, winter rides just a little more bearable because you're not out there as long. And so I love that combination of, a really great, analog bike like what you have there, but then also the ability to choose electric assist. And I have electric assist on my cargo bike, so when I'm doing a heavy grocery store run, I'm grabbing that bike, yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, I try to work on people who are very much, like if you're a sports cyclist, sometimes e-bikes are cheating, but I'm like, no, I like to take things around, and sometimes I just like biking around.
Yeah.
I'm not a sports cyclist at all.
Yeah.
I just like getting around by bike.
Yeah.
I prefer the environment that I'm put in.
Yeah.
I enjoy not dealing with traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just nice to be outside.
Yeah, folks, if you think e-bikes are cheating, let me introduce you to the car.
Exactly.
You think of cheating, there you go. So this is really cool, I was first documented Salt Lake City back in 2015 when this infrastructure was first built.
Let's take the left here, so we'll jog over here.
Really cool, to see that the city, after some fits and starts, is continuing to build out, but this legacy infrastructure, still in place, a decade on. Good to see.
Yeah. One of the first, I hear, in the U.S.
It was one of the first Dutch-style protected intersections in the modern era constructed. Yeah, in North America, well, in the United States. Vancouver and Montreal had earlier installations in the Great White North.
Now we're approaching our new rendition of a protected intersection.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a cluster over here of a couple of these, so we'll go right here. So now we're on our bus priority street.
Right.
As well as definitely improved bike lane. So our blocks are enormous here. So adding a mid-block crossing is essentially creating a regular block here.
Yeah. Yeah, for those of you who are tuning in, watching this, and you're just blown away by how wide these streets are, it goes back to the original Zion Plat of Salt Lake City back in the 1800s. And this grid was laid out with really, really long blocks and really, really wide streets. Yeah, what's really interesting too with this bike lane here, or bus lane, and the buffered bike lane is, it's a concept that I call land banking. We've transformed the streetscape in such a way, so profoundly, and it's still not to where we'd like to see it from an advocacy perspective, from an all ages and abilities perspective. But the fact that it's been land banked and it's been transformed so profoundly, it actually could be done later. Yeah, you can come back in and make that happen. As you can see here, we sort of transition into a bike and bus lane.
This is the interesting block that they didn't quite get to separation.
Yep.
There's a parking garage for, I believe it's one of the malls here, the City Creek Mall, just kind of jutting down the center here.
Yep.
We also passed one of our busiest bus platforms in the city. So, I mean, you're seeing the buses there now too.
Yeah.
But this has several different really high frequency bus routes.
Right.
We're also adding some bus rapid transit here in the next year.
Yeah. This reminds me of 5th Street in Austin, where we have a bike and bus lane. And just like how we're rolling down it, and I don't even see a bus in sight.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 when I'm rolling down 5th Street in the bus lane, the bike bus lane, I have it to myself. It's a red lane. It's fine. I eventually get to a bike-specific pathway and lane very, very quickly.
Well, the nice thing about the bus lanes is when there's no bus there, it's essentially an extra wide buffer.
An extra wide buffer.
You still have to watch, they call this a BAT lane, or business access transit lane.
Yeah.
So drivers can still move into it and then access parking or turn into a driveway.
Yeah.
We're unfortunately not on a very good alleyway system here. So you'll notice there's so much green paint because of all the driveways.
Yeah.
So that's an unfortunate thing, and that goes so far back in our city planning that it's one of those things that's tough to change.
From an advocacy perspective as an organization, I have to imagine that, having the bike lane, articulate around the backside of the transit stop is so helpful for you guys to communicate with your constituents, communicate with the community that, hey, these are the reasons why we're doing this. We're trying to encourage active mobility, people walking, biking, and using transit. And this is a great example of how, everyone can quote unquote get along.
Yeah, and you're also essentially highlighting that there's transit here by building these islands, and you see people using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I think they kind of missed here was the opportunity to be parking protected. As you see, we're going in and out, whereas we could just stay on one side. Yeah. The problem with that is usually the sight lines, and then they have to remove more parking, and it just makes people upset.
Yep.
So that's part of the reason is the driveways.
Yeah, and ultimately, as I said earlier, it's been land banked because you've got the street reconfigured. You can always come in and easily flip that parking over later. Pretty cherished little spots from a parking perspective, and there's not that many. And there's plenty of off-street parking all over.
This half of this block is a parking garage.
Yeah, there's plenty there.
I usually wish that almost all of this parking here, especially this district right here, were just more like 10, 15-minute parking for people to pick up food.
Yeah.
So I think I'll take you down here a little more, and then we'll turn at the next block.
Okay, sounds good.
I want to take you towards some more residential areas and show you some places that maybe no one will show you here.
Okay, good.
As well as another campaign we worked on at Sweet Streets.
Yeah.
We still occasionally have people ride in the bus lanes. I don't know if that's actually illegal yet. That might be a good thing to think about from a state law perspective. We just had state law enacted to make it illegal to drive or park in the bike lane. Okay. That was not illegal across the state.
Yeah, interestingly enough, many cities, municipalities are struggling with that. There was actually never anything in the books to indicate and highlight that it's illegal to park in a bike lane.
Salt Lake City, of course, has had this, and we do have a fine structure, and we have parking enforcement. Maybe not enough, but we do have it. So this is a very legacy. If you look closely at the yellow lines there, that's a painted walkway.
Interesting.
It is never ever used as a walkway.
Yeah.
And this is also in very bad shape. So this is definitely an opportunity street.
Yeah, this is an opportunity street, and we've got some really cool businesses right here, outdoor patio. What's nice about how it's been reconfigured and designed currently is it's pretty damn calm, There's not a lot of fast-moving traffic because everything's already constrained. Really, to your point, it's just a matter of, okay, let's move some things around here and, let's really make this environment, conducive to people getting around.
I had to look at Google Earth imagery to find out, but this street was the same as this before. So 300 South, here's another older bikeway. It was one of the first protected bike lanes in the city. And that one used to be the same as that with the paint striping. And I think nowadays they probably wouldn't allow this street configuration to be a thing.
Right.
But I don't know, it's better than a 5-lane street, right?
Yeah, no, I mean,
There's
yeah,
more,
honestly,
there's even more parking if you like.
Yeah.
And it's safer.
For us,
Yeah.
it's been, yes, we're in a door zone bike lane, and yes, there's so much space dedicated to the storage and movement of cars, but the speeds are so slow that it's been quite comfortable just rolling down it. So, yes, we can fine tune and we can nitpick and everything, but just the fact that people are used to driving slowly through this space sets you up for, reconfiguring and reimagining. And I imagine for a advocacy organization, as you guys are, engaging with the public and you're talking about, strategies of how to make it more inviting for all ages and abilities, you can point to a street like this and say, hey, with just a little bit of fine tuning, we could do this. We'd really love your support, as the city comes up with its newest design, because I'm sure they will eventually, money allowed. And that's the key thing, is what advocacy organizations can really do is help the city implement the visions and the plans that City Council has passed.
Exactly. And there has to be a reminder that, hey, we actually did a lot of public feedback on these plans. And
Yeah.
They are getting a bit older now.
Yeah.
But
look at this, a raised crossing here.
Yeah, this is from when the city was redoing both the library and this public safety building.
Yeah. Brilliant. I just, it's such an easy thing that we can do to slow traffic down, make it a little more inviting for people in mobility devices, people walking, people biking. It's just so brilliant to do that.
Yeah. And this is one of what they're calling, but I'm saying they as in the city and the state, since right now this is a city-owned road, which a lot of people don't know. It's important to make that distinction so you know who to talk to about it.
Yes.
And so the city can't say that or deflect to the state when you know it's not. Because that does happen. Sometimes it gets mixed up.
Yeah.
But the city owns the street here, and it's a one-way thoroughfare, a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
And then it turns into a state-owned road over there.
Down there. Okay, got it.
And so they're calling it Grand Boulevard.
Okay.
But one thing I wanted to point out was we have pretty much a network of community councils throughout the city.
Right.
And they're great places where you can both stay involved and stay in touch with things.
Okay.
But you can also, kind of strengthen your voice through them.
Right.
And because they have regular meetings with the mayor, the city council members are usually visiting.
Okay.
So there's a lot more connection to your city when you're participating in those kinds of structures.
Are these all volunteer or are these elected or?
All volunteer.
Okay.
Some of them are nonprofits, some are just, it's almost like at a university as a student organization. Yeah. And honestly, it reminds me of one of those, but maybe slightly more, of course, more adult.
Yeah. I would imagine that there's a certain amount of power and influence that these can have when it comes to the city council and the politicians, the elected officials, because if you're hearing from these groups that, hey, this is what we want safer streets, we want sweeter streets.
Exactly.
And they're kind of like listening to an individual from those councils and saying, oh, this represents a significant voting bloc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something that to note too is that a lot of times they're overrepresented by homeowners.
Yeah.
And usually people who might be older and just have more time. So it is difficult, especially if you just don't have the time to get out there. Yeah. But if you do, it's a great way to get out and kind of balance things a bit. So we're gonna go left here. I think the paint here is kind of crude. They are going to fix this, but I think it's better just to turn left through this intersection. This is an example of a local street. I think they actually, and the speed limit is 25 here. I'll make another reference to the speed limit soon. Yeah. But this is still considered a collector, even though it's clearly a residential street. Right. But it's also overly wide.
Overly wide, yeah.
But there are some structures in the city government to look out for, and street classification is one of them. Yeah. Just even asking them to revisit the street structure. Right. Can be pretty important. Yeah. We're gonna go left here.
Again, another great example of a diamond in the rough in the sense of a overly wide street that can just be reconfigured and reimagined. Yeah.
And here we have a parking protected bike lane.
Oh,
We
I
have one
love it.
back there too, but this one's fresher.
Yeah.
So this used to be a 5-lane, essentially residential street.
Okay.
Really confusing
Yeah.
that existed.
Yeah.
But now it's down to 3 lanes.
That's a paradoxical statement there. A 5-lane residential
It
street.
doesn't make any sense.
Cities, no. Just say no. If you have them, change them, and change them like this. This is brilliant.
We're gonna be going right here, and it's easy to miss because it looks like an alley or someone's driveway.
Oh yeah.
But this is
This is Cottage.
yeah. So this is a sweet street right here.
Dude,
This is a
dude,
city
this
owned
is
street.
totally a
Yeah.
sweet street. Yes.
So you
Yeah.
even notice how they pattern things. This is so drivers slow down
Yeah.
the sidewalk.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoever did this, I don't know who did this.
Yeah.
This must have been done a while ago, but it's just a really cool example of something that exists already.
Yeah.
And it's not something anyone knows. And here's a nice park, a community garden. Really nice space here.
Let's pull up here for just a second and reflect on what we just saw here.
So this is not your typical tour. This is something that
This
you
is
just have
the
to know.
alley tour. This is one of the things that I love about Montreal too, is they have a whole activated network of alleys throughout the city. Have you visited Montreal and the alley systems? It's really quite extraordinary. I'll point folks to one of my videos that I produced with Jean-Francois, my tour leader there in Montreal, and I think it's really important to understand that many cities have these little hidden pockets of alleys and utility corridors and opportunities to activate them from an active mobility perspective and create an alternative to, what we have over here, which is, an overly wide residential street. It's not too bad. There's not a ton of traffic right there. But again, from an all ages and abilities perspective, we can fine tune that eventually. But when you have stuff like this that creates some connectivity, creates modal filters, creates opportunities for active mobility to get from one neighborhood to the next, just brilliant.
Yeah. And this is an example of something that has been here for a long time.
Yeah.
But these are all smaller homes. So these are starter homes.
Yeah.
Or just people just want to live in a smaller home.
Sure,
or just
sure.
a couple.
Or as we used to call them when these were built, they're just homes.
Yeah, they're just homes.
Yeah.
But it's a way we can build, and it's this. We'll see this for maybe 2 or 3 more blocks,
Yeah.
but you don't see this like anywhere else.
Right.
And this is all. So we've only came like maybe a quarter of the way through this block.
Right.
So, like you can go through here, and then the street here will be half of a block.
Right.
So there's still a whole nother half of a block,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
just this. We pretty much have super blocks that are just plain blocks here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just how our wider streets are here.
Talk a little bit about the zeitgeist and the mission of Sweet Streets. You didn't call yourselves, and I know you weren't around when they were founded, but you can speak a little bit to the historical context of it. Talk a little bit about the fact that you're not identifying yourselves as an organization you're not calling yourselves Sweet Bicycle Streets. Yeah. You're not identifying, you're not leading with an identification of a bicycle organization or lobbying group. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so you probably noticed one of our taglines.
Yeah.
You're probably very familiar with it.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that one. I've got some Streets Are for People stickers for you.
I also have Streets Are for People stickers for you.
Yeah, fantastic.
But yeah, like that's one of our easy introductions is to say that we want people first streets. Even the city's starting to use that term now, which is it's really nice when you start seeing the terminology adopted in city plans.
Yeah.
But the idea is that we don't want to focus too much on bikes because not everyone's going to bike.
Sure.
We're all walking too, and there's plenty of people still driving. A lot of us still have cars.
Yeah.
It's really about making the streets safer, more productive.
Yeah.
And we also do want to make sure the land use is also matching the street.
Right.
So we try to encompass all of those things. Something I will say is that it's very easy to get carried away with do everything.
Yes.
So there are some cases where if you can find another organization that's really the housing, like they're really great at promoting those things, then just kind of piggybacking on them, but still keeping your mission like all-encompassing.
Right.
But then leaning more on them for the housing side of things.
Right, yes.
And then
Yeah,
someone
good
else
point.
for the policy.
Yeah.
Because you can just completely overburden yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really trying to, you also say the same things that we do, and whoever founded everything, this is all in their documents. So I'm always like, wow, when I'm looking through it, I'm like, nothing's out of date. I agree with everything here.
Everything's good.
It's great.
Yeah.
But trying to make things more all ages and abilities, and consider, like different people use the street. We're not just trying to create like a cycling paradise, but again, trying to create things that also benefit pedestrians, buses, our tracks, light rail system here, and also drivers.
I'm really leaning into recently, just talking about how what we're looking for and we're striving for is safe and inviting mobility choice, and that freedom of being able to choose the safest and most effective and pragmatic and practical way for you for that journey. It may be different for a different journey. Maybe the next journey you're on the track's light rail line, and then the next journey you're walking, and the next journey you're on your bike, and the next journey is on your cargo bike. And the next journey maybe you're with your 8-year-old daughter, and it's a completely different context and a completely different reality, and maybe even a completely different route that you choose based on that.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the 9-line projects on 900 South. That really is like an all ages and abilities corridor.
Right.
And you will see kids learning to bike on it. You'll see them on the back of bikes. You'll see cargo bikes.
Yeah.
So it's really great to see more families being able to go out and bike. And I'm using those words very specifically because before they didn't have a choice.
Right.
There was no safe option for them to take their kid on a bike.
Correctly.
And now they have.
Correct.
Now they can.
Well, it's also reframing what we think of by a bike and who rides a bike. The term cyclist sort of gets morphed into, it could be that person who is normally in a wheelchair and is using an adaptive cycle to be able to have some additional mobility, like Isabel Clement from Wheels for Wellbeing in London that I profiled. So again, that stereotypical thing that we go to when we think of, it's just for those cyclists. Well, who are those people? Now we're reframing that and changing that. It can be that kid. It could be that person who's using a mobility device.
Exactly.
Yeah, completely reframes it.
Yeah, and we've been trying to lean more on just getting people aware of what's going on. So we started doing the World Day of Remembrance last year.
Okay.
So there's an organization that kind of organizes that.
Sure.
But I believe it's the third Sunday every November, and a lot of cities in the U.S. are now doing it.
Yeah.
But we started that last year, and we're going to continue that this year. But
I think it's good to have that, but I also think it's good to have, just amazing, community rolling opportunities where folks can understand that hey, if we come together we can get out there and roll through our city, again enhancing the awareness, and have it be something that's in the context that it's not about those bike people. It's about engaging everyone. A great event that happened recently in Austin was a Kiddical Mass that took place. And so you ended up having families that normally don't get out on bikes, but because it was a Kiddical Mass, it was starting from from a middle school, a lot of folks came out, 250 people came out. And that kind of reframes it. Again, it's not about the people who always bike, it's about the people who would bike more often if it were safe to do so.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one thing that we're trying to work on more is just being more inviting for families to come on our rides too. Yeah. And we always do try to make it so that families can join us, but it's about finding, you need like someone who really knows, they're like the cargo bike person, or they're biking to school already, and they're pretty much that person who's like they're helping encourage other people, other parents to go and bike to school with their children. So I went to Portland for like a week, 2 years ago. And Pedalpalooza is amazing. I went there and I rented a cheap, it was on, I forgot what the bike shop name was, but they pretty much rehab old bikes. And rent it cheaply. So I got one for a week, and I literally just went on their website and I just met a bunch of people who were into the same kind of thing. And just met a lot of people and went through neighborhoods and learned all the good spots. So that was really fun. So that was the inspiration there. And so I've been trying to keep that going and highlight all the other events and organizations that people are doing that are more casual.
Because you do have quite a few out here in the organization.
Exactly.
As we pause.
quiet while what do they call the wave of cars?
The wave of cars, the platoon,
Yeah,
in
the
between the
platoon.
platoons.
Yeah.
And we're able to hear some birds and some folks here. And again, that's one of the great joys of having these off-street network of alleyways and cut-throughs and all that. Able to get a little bit of embraced by the greenery around us, a little park right here. Yeah. That's pretty special.
Once we get below 900 South, we transition to pretty much a residential only kind of area.
Okay.
So once we get down there, I want to talk about our 20 is Plenty campaign. So we started the push for 20-mile-per-hour residential streets here.
Nice.
And it's also cascaded because the city then also lowered most of the other speed limits.
Okay.
Which I know that's not going to solve everything, but we can chat about that. But
It's like a first step.
it is, yeah.
That if you can at least get that starting to roll, there's plenty of people in the UK version of the 20 is Plenty that are like, yeah, you just need to do it. You just need to, drop that speed limit and magical things will happen. And I believe that it can't be just that. I think that you have to, that's like the first step.
Exactly.
And then following that up with actually design, because design matters more than what's
Here's a couple
on
of
a
our
street.
stickers, but
All
I
right,
have
good stuff.
I have one fun thing that maybe no one's given you as a piece of swag before that one of our followers just gave us or just made for us. It's a bookmark made 3D printed,
nice.
and that's Main Street. I know the Sharrow bikeway isn't the most amazing, but it was one of the best vertical kind of pictures.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. That's
so
awesome.
It was really fun to.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that. I like rigid bookmarks like that too, especially
Yeah.
when I'm reading a book and I want to underline things.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't expecting it. He just brought them one day.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, it's interesting the hatred that comes about associated with Sharrows, including the whole movement of Sharrows or bullshit sort of narrative and all that. I'm like, guys, it's not that simple, and again, I emphasize that the Dutch cycle network is again 60 to 70% shared space. And the Sharrow, yes, is a bastardization of what they saw there in the Netherlands of a Fietsstraat marking. And so we have to put it in context. What is bullshit is just dropping down a Sharrow on a high-speed corridor. But that Main Street photo of the Sharrow of the green bike lane in a street that's sized in such a way that it is a slow speed environment, that is an appropriate use of the green and the Sharrow.
Yeah, and I won't take us to any places that have an improper use of Sharrow, but we do have them here.
Yeah.
But we also have good uses of Sharrows.
Yeah.
We have our Neighborhood Byway systems, which is a
Exactly.
neighborway
Beautiful,
or
yes.
a greenway. Or there's
Yeah.
like 10 names for them now, but
Yeah.
that's our version.
I like the Neighborhood Byway that you're doing. That's fantastic. I love that naming, and I love the signage that you all have here in the city. A hat tip to Pittsburgh. Yeah, they were doing neighborways. Yeah, as a little bit of a hat tip to Mr. Rogers, who's from the Pittsburgh area.
That's
So,
great, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, let's keep rolling.
Yeah, one of the things we were pushing a little while back were trying to get signage and wayfinding. So there was, I think it was maybe 3 years ago that we got an AARP grant, and again, I wasn't there. I'll keep saying we, but we're gonna go left here.
The Imperial we.
Yeah. But we were able to just kind of do some tactical urbanism, kind of just put down some signage in key locations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. Talk a little bit about your organization structure, how you're funded, whether it's completely volunteer, all of that.
Sorry, I noticed there was a tactical urbanism speed bump that was there and very improper.
Okay.
And I just noticed it was gone because it was not gone maybe a week ago.
Oh, okay.
And we're gonna go straight across here, so just watch for traffic.
Okay.
Sweet Streets is, we're a 501c4 actually,
Okay.
which is not very common.
No, I love that you're a C4 because then you have the ability to influence elections. You can make choices for elected officials. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good way
So
to do it.
We can endorse.
Endorse, yeah.
And we don't have to.
Yep.
There are some cases where the responses are relatively similar.
Yeah.
And they're all good,
Yeah.
at least for this particular issue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go right here. Here's another pocket park.
I love it.
So yeah, we're a C4. We can endorse candidates, and I guess we can do a more proportion of lobbying as well.
That is
We don't do
correct,
as much of it.
Yeah.
Here, this feels more Dutch right now.
Yeah.
Aside from the very large truck, but the one-way bike traffic here.
Nice and calm. That's a great example of how for future Amazon deliveries, delivering in this neighborhood, you could do that with a cargo bike, guys.
But yeah, for the rest of our organization, we're all volunteer run right now. Okay. So we have no reliance on money,
Okay.
Which there's a lot of advantages to it. It just kind of makes you more of like a grassroots organization.
Right.
And so it kind of depends on the situation for what's the best for your area. Let's go right here. You can really go either way.
Love the little cottages.
Yeah, this little area here, there's a cluster here, and then there's another couple down that way. And I think there's maybe 2 or 3 other cottage courts where there's actually a sidewalk that runs through the center, and all of the homes face the sidewalk. That for me would be harder to find, but they do exist.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go left here. This is another recently improved street where they added a buffered bike lane.
Right.
Yeah, we run just on our volunteer hours, and so our focus really is more on just getting people involved and aware of what's going on in the city.
Yeah.
It's just really hard for people to know what's going on. There's 20 projects, probably a lot more than that actually, but how do you keep up with all those things?
Sure.
And not everyone's geeking out about the next project next year.
Right.
So it's not easy to find these things and be aware and involved.
I would bet that it's way more than 20 projects. In Austin, at any given time, there's over 100 projects at different stages and all that. As a C4 too, when you're working on campaigns and you're trying to increase awareness and get, enhance awareness of the population, the constituents and all of that, I would imagine that you guys have the ability to take donations and then use that money in that, in the campaign sort of thing of being able to let people know what's going on and how they should think about it, or, at least things to consider.
Yeah. And that's a good point. We have a bit more flexibility there. I think where the distinction between C4 and C3 comes is C3, that's tax deductible. C4 I don't think is.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah.
And it's just kind of a different kind of setup there.
Yeah.
Like you might have businesses that are more willing to donate to you.
Yeah.
If you're C3. So we're gonna actually connect to the 9 line for a block or two here.
Many organizations, I think the first that I knew of was probably the Cascade, and then also the San Francisco Coalition, Bike Coalition, where they have both a C3 and a C4 arm. Yeah. And so they're able to do the lobbying efforts, they are able to do the stuff that you can do as a C4, but at the same time, there's that C3 community benefit tax deductible arm too, so you can get the best of both worlds. Not that you guys need to do that, you don't, but it's neat to know for folks, if you're thinking about creating an organization within your city, you can do that combination here in the United States of both the C3 and C4 organization.
Yeah, exactly. And if anyone's considering starting an organization, don't worry too much about it. You don't have to do all these things, but just get started and start bringing people together.
Yeah, I was going to say, the very first step is start talking with your neighbors. I love this block too. Look at how freaking cool this is. You've got a nice little, corner spot there.
Well, we just passed here actually. That there is going to be our first food co-op in Salt Lake City.
Okay, right.
So it'll be right on this trail here.
Yeah.
And I've heard that they might be doing cargo bike parking and some other cool features. So
As they should.
it'd be great to have this right on this trail.
Yeah.
And since this trail goes all the way to the west side of the city, it really helps out and provide more access if you don't have a car.
Yeah. Yeah, I love these little businesses. We got a little Italian restaurant right there. I mean, this is beautiful. This is a sweet street right here. You know, we still have plenty of car parking. We still have plenty of lanes for cars to travel on. But now you have an all ages and abilities facility. You've got kids scooting
right here,
around.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, this is everything that we need right here.
And this is one of those things where the city has to make this possible. They have to allow people to convert a home to a corner store business, for example.
Yeah.
Not sure, have you gone down the street a bit to see? Yeah, okay. So just on this, like, this is one of those places where you do have to also coordinate the land use as well.
Right.
So it'll be a lot more successful if you bring destinations to the area.
Yeah.
And if there's development opportunities, like there are further down the line here, and you build it with a better kind of, forethought to it.
Yeah.
They were actually testing form-based zoning code
Yeah.
with that neighborhood, that's Central 9th neighborhood that's up ahead.
What I love about this too is this is an overlay of an active mobility network in an older historic sort of neighborhood, and it's just, it breathes such life to it because before you know damn well that this was just a traffic sewer.
Yeah.
So
it was not very friendly.
Yeah.
It was definitely not people first.
And I think that that's where we can really get just an amazing case study for people saying, you know, well, is it good for business to have active mobility and an all ages and abilities, facility in this area? The answer is definitively yes.
Yeah. And I think we might loop around just to not ride along the whole 9-line trail again. But I just wanted to get a little touch of this and go back on one of our local streets and kind of cut throughs. You can see that area there, that's another little district that's pretty much forming right now.
Right.
And it's kind of built in tandem with this 9-line trail.
Yeah.
And there are so many people walking and biking in this area now. It's just amazing. It's such a transformation in a very good way.
So you've got that as a wonderful example where you can, have parties, host events, help enhance community awareness when other opportunities are starting to formulate. How cool is that to have that in your back pocket? It's not like you have to drag people to the Netherlands to show them something cool. You've got it right here.
And we hosted an event earlier this year where it was all about exploring the trail by foot and bike.
Yeah.
And we set up stations along the trail.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep going straight. We just set up stations on the trail and put other nonprofits on the trail.
Yeah.
And just had people go explore it because some people just haven't been past a certain street. Since it's relatively new, a lot of people don't go to the west side.
Yeah.
They haven't seen some of the park spaces that are out over there. So it was really great to have that and just get more eyes on it and get more people excited about it.
Yeah.
It was so cool to see so many people out there.
And we're rolling one block over parallel to that route, and we have just a wonderful, comfortable, tree-lined, tree-canopied street.
Yeah.
Again, just a delight. If you have a reason to be over there and want to be on that protected infrastructure, sweet. Or you can come over here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is nice too.
We're gonna go right here and we're gonna take one of our older bike lanes and connect with one of our neighborhood byways. So this street, I believe, is a 9-foot lane plus a 4-foot bike lane, as you can probably tell.
Yeah.
So they did squeeze it in, which is good. But we also have some parallel, quieter streets.
Right.
And they've been doing some interesting things with that between taking out centerline striping and doing like a one-way bike lane the other way, Sharo,
Sure.
but without a hill. But it's still kind of a residential street.
Right.
I think they're still kind of testing these things out.
Yeah. This is one of those weird, very odd widths.
Yeah.
Where you don't quite have enough space to have everything that you want. And so it's a matter of compromises. And there's several different ways that you can kind of approach these things, but ultimately, whatever you do, slow the motor vehicle traffic down, and then that forgives an awful lot. Because if you get people traveling predominantly 20 miles per hour or less, then less than ideal design, as long as it's reinforcing those slower speeds, we can live with.
Exactly.
And we look at Hampton Avenue here and see how narrow that is. That's beautiful. So that's definitely a yield street there.
Exactly, yeah. In some cases they made them one way, in some cases they didn't.
Yeah.
I would prefer that they stay two-way to make it really slow, and that's
super narrow yield street.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's no better way to slow down a driver than for the driver to think that they might have a head-on collision and kill themselves, and then they'll slow down.
Yeah. Here's a spot where we end up getting a shared lane suddenly at the intersection. They're trying to reduce these, but in some cases they just haven't quite gotten there. Oh, it looks like the street's blocked here. So we can probably just roll through here.
All right. Yeah. Oh yeah, something big's going on. Up ahead we see some folks rolling down the street on bikes. Again, why not? It's a very comfortable environment, early evening. And what I love about that scene that we just saw there is, you know, three friends rolling down, big smiles on their faces. And yeah. By the way, folks, it's not about bikes, but riding a bike is actually kind of fun.
It is.
It's hard not to smile while you're doing it.
Exactly.
As Troy is demonstrating here.
Yeah, I can tell you that my happiness level greatly increased from biking around.
Yeah. Well, why don't you share a little bit about your story? How did you get engaged and involved in all things urbanism and more livable places?
Yeah, my background was definitely very suburban. Kind of like remote suburban. My family grew up in New Jersey, and we were in like a subdivision that was just kind of out on, maybe not quite a farm road, but pretty close to it.
Right. Pretty rural-ish.
Yeah, exactly.
Ex-urban.
There aren't really towns. Like there's like, I would call them villages.
Yeah, yeah.
But very small, maybe like an intersection with a couple places there.
Yeah, yeah.
I also lived in Delaware for a while, the same kind of thing going on there.
Yeah.
So I did not have much ability to go outside that subdivision. Usually it was a very busy road. And we're actually gonna turn left here onto our Kensington Neighborhood Byway, which they're still striping right now, as you can see. You get the signage there. But in classic form, I started becoming more in touch with walkability and bikeability in undergrad.
Okay.
So I start walking around everywhere, seeing how nice it is. Then I got a bike. Of course, I had ridden the bike before, and I just rode around my subdivision as a kid. Yeah. But then I got one up there. I was able to go hit the trails that were nearby, the state park over there, near the university campus.
Yeah.
And then I just started taking the class, and I'm like, this is really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I can get everywhere so fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's a 5-minute bike ride.
There's one of the 20 plenty signs.
Yeah, we still have some of them up.
Yeah, from Sweet Streets.
Touch on that in a little bit. So I started kind of thinking about it there. Maybe I'll say I didn't think about it yet. Yeah. Really, it was like in the back of my mind, but I didn't know that you could like
percolating.
Do this. Yeah, exactly. And then I studied environmental science, and it was like very slowly building on me that like, no matter what you do with cars, they're just gonna pollute. They're gonna waste land. Yeah. The land use thing is this. We need to talk about it more. Yeah. It's ridiculous how much space we take up with cars. The amount of pavement. They're gonna take this ramp here. So this is new, a raised crossing, and then a multi-use path and another ramp. Salt Lake City loves their ramps. Yeah. Which legally makes you a pedestrian here. Right. It is a state law that we are pedestrians now. So drivers must seal, they might not know it. Yeah. But that is the law. But yeah, I started thinking about it a bit towards the end of undergrad. And then I kind of paused for a little bit. And I came out to Utah for my master's here in geography.
Ah, okay.
And that is kind of why I talk about land use a bit, because I stare at land use from up high a lot. And for the beginning of time, like since I moved here, I was just driving everywhere. But I started taking tracks, the light rail system.
Right.
I started taking that a bit to get groceries. I would walk up the campus. I was kind of slowly, getting into this. And then eventually I got a bike. Again, it was almost like a second coming of like getting a bike and having like almost like the childhood experience of having fun and enjoying being outside.
Right.
And then eventually I tried biking for things, and I realized that this is not very safe. And I sent a couple of emails to the city, and then I'm like, I started watching YouTube videos.
Which ones?
Of course, I saw Not Just Bikes first.
Yeah, Jason.
That's a YouTube algorithm. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
But I started exploring others.
Yeah.
And eventually, I'm like, I just need to like go to my community council.
Yeah.
I need to look for organizations that do this kind of work.
Yeah.
Because you can be one voice, or you can be a much bigger voice.
Right.
So,
Love it.
hey,
Here we are.
I'm not sure if you came across here.
Yeah.
I don't know if someone.
Yeah,
from the
this
ci-
is yet to be activated.
Yeah, but we can still
Nice.
cross it.
Yeah, we can make it happen.
Yeah, I actually have crossed it many times now. It turns out that having the space in the refuge island helps a lot. And then we just wait for the next light, and then we can go ahead.
What's fun
That
is
person's
we've got the cascade effect of them.
I've never had
doing it.
I've never had them stop for me actually.
Yeah, that's
Even
good.
though they probably
It's the
should.
cascade. Is once that first one did it, then the other two, made their way. Yeah.
But eventually that will be a
Beautiful.
light, and
And then eventually that'll be an activated light.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And again, for these neighborhood byways, that's what we have to do. We have to find a way to get across those busy arterials.
And that was a state DOT.
And that was a state
collaboration.
DOT.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, state DOTs, stop controlling streets in cities.
Yeah.
Turn them over to cities.
Support them.
Support them, turn
help,
them
help
over.
them build the bridges.
Help them create streets for people.
Exactly.
Nice little
Here's the neighborhood, the intersection of two neighborhood byways.
neighborhood.
Have you ridden up through this yet?
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, and this is actually tactical urbanism, really.
Yeah.
Someone just put those out there and they water them.
We're just gonna sit out here, have a meeting. At the junction of two neighborhood byways.
Yeah.
So this is freaking amazing, Troy.
Yeah.
So we are literally standing in the middle of a traffic circle that has been adopted by residents of this neighborhood, and had beautiful plants put out here against a relatively dry desert-like environment during the summertime here. And so we've got some drought-tolerant grasses here. Yeah, this is fantastic. This is amazing.
Yeah. So as you said, this is an intersection of two neighborhood byways.
Yeah.
It's one of the first, I guess this neighborhood byway, the Kensington Neighborhood Byway, bridged a couple different neighborhood byways as it's being built. But the neighborhood byways is one of our campaigns, and still is.
Yeah.
We're still pushing for them to adopt it quicker and build out their set of neighborhood byways.
Yeah.
But the idea, as with other cities, is to take these naturally occurring, slower and low traffic streets and just create these connections. So you can take an alternative to a busy street.
Yeah.
And then also make it closer to an all ages and abilities network.
Yeah.
There's still a bit more to do. And this is one of the better ones where they have these chicanes.
Yeah, this is tremendous, folks. We'll actually roll down that as part of our sign off because you have to see it. It's fantastic. Whenever possible, try to do horizontal deflection with your traffic calming. Just don't go to speed humps. I understand that's easy, but that's kind of, cheating. That's kind of giving up a little bit.
Yeah, people don't like speed bumps.
And people don't like speed bumps. They don't like chicanes and traffic circles either, but guess what? They'll get used to it. And if you make them beautiful, then people won't resist them as much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
notice I said as much, because
of
there's
course.
always resistance to change.
It depends on the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And like having a variety of different traffic calming devices that really helps keep attention, because if you're just doing like speed bump after speed bump, it's just frustrating, and you speed up and slow down, and it just keeps kind of going like that. The other thing I wanted to point out was that we also pushed for the city to adopt a 20 mile per hour, they call it prima facie speed limit. Essentially means everything that's not already signed, more or less.
Yes.
And so the default speed limit in Salt Lake City is now 20 miles per hour.
It is already.
It is.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Successful campaign.
Exactly. So
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
70% of our streets are now 20 miles per hour is, I believe, the number.
That is so essential. It really is. It really is.
And of course, dislowing the speed limit won't do everything.
No.
But it essentially sets the sights. So now the engineers have to design for 20 miles per hour, not 25. That's one of those things. It's kind of iterative.
Yeah. When your default speed is 20 miles per hour, and we see like a huge platoon of people riding bikes down this street right now, it makes this design, which is a 15 to 20 mile per hour design speed, it makes sense. It's in context now. If you still have a default speed of 30 miles per hour here, these two things aren't making sense. They're in conflict with each other.
And it's really nice when the speed limit is 20 miles per hour and drivers going 15. It's like actually a speed limit.
Correct.
Actually makes more sense.
Thank you. It does say speed limit. Yeah,
exactly.
It doesn't say speed minimum.
Exactly. And the other thing that ended up happening was that the city was able to also lower speed limits elsewhere. So when you set this residential speed limit to 20, then you can set the collectors to 25 and the arterials to 30, for example, and kind of bring all the speeds down. It makes it make more sense too, because if you have a 25 neighborhood and a 25 traffic street, it doesn't really make sense either.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, the other thing I want to point out as we're looking down 8th here, and we're seeing the traffic circle and then the chicanes beyond that, is one of the reasons why this is far superior to speed humps is the visual from a motor vehicle driver perspective is that, I see things in my vision. It's not a straight raceway.
Exactly.
And so it breaks up the visual. I think that's part of the reason why I'm so in love with chicanes and traffic circles, is it breaks that up. Whenever possible, cities don't just put a sign in the middle like this right here. Plant a tree here. Get a drought-tolerant trees. We need more street trees in our cities.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's a cost thing.
I'll
take the sign first, and then let's come back and let's actually make these permanent.
Yeah, exactly. Make these permanent. Start depaving whenever possible. One of the things I loved about Tucson is the fact that with these traffic circles and with their chicanes, they're taking that opportunity to legitimately depave and get more filtration of stormwater runoff to be able to percolate down, so that when they have their big rain events and storm events, which they do in Tucson during the monsoon season, they're able to get more of that uptake of the storm water. And I know you all have that same problem here too. So anything that we can do to create rain gardens and opportunities to depave, bring that heat island effect down as well. Hey, traffic calming and depaving can work hand in hand together.
Exactly. And in Salt Lake City, we're in depth to our streets because they're so wide.
Yes.
And it's expensive for them to move the curb. But when they move the curb, they lower the maintenance for, forever.
Yes. Yeah, forever. Yeah, because it is expensive to just have a massive amount of asphalt that you have to upkeep, to say nothing of the heat island effect of what the negative consequences of having a massive sea of asphalt.
Exactly.
Yeah, good stuff. Troy, this has been so much fun. Let's do this. Let's roll down this, and we'll say goodbye as we roll down this beautiful neighborhood byway.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, cool. I'd love to see, and I don't know, maybe this could be an initiative that you all, are kind of part of, but I'd love to see a group of community members, and again, it could be Sweet Streets, it could be somebody else, that helps, bring awareness to doing this type of treatment with the traffic circles and bringing a little bit of green element into the neighborhood and the city and a little bit of beauty to it. Because I would imagine there's plenty of neighborhoods that would love to have the traffic calming and would love to have a more beautiful effect here. There's a place for all different types of city advocacy, from leadership at the very, very top, from at the state level and the federal level on down to the city level, but all the way down to, the grassroots movements and engaging at the block level and talking with your neighbors and all that. And then you all sit right in the middle there. Again, we talked about it earlier, as an advocacy organization, as a volunteer organization that's trying to spread the word about what it means to have sweet streets.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
everybody's got their role.
Yeah, exactly. And you were mentioning earlier about how can we have more residents just put planters in the center.
Yeah.
They just need to water them.
Yeah.
But I think a good way, again, is to bring it back to the community council.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to go through them exactly, but
Sure.
you can meet people who are passionate about their neighborhood there.
And hopefully folks will see this video too and be like, oh man, maybe we could do that in our neighborhood. We actually have a traffic circle and it looks like shit. It's just ugly. The city just put something down from a utilitarian perspective and we'll see one that has nothing. And so it needs some love. It just needs a couple of neighbors to be able to adopt it.
Exactly.
Adopt a traffic circle or adopt a chicane.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that little program.
Yeah.
Not that you guys need it anymore on your plate, but I can totally see that that's consistent with a sweet streets sort of concept.
Yeah, and I think the best thing as an advocacy organization is to essentially create something where other people can help.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Get engagement. Yeah.
Yeah, because me coming out here and I plant something.
No,
it
can't be you.
Exactly.
It has to be. It has to be local people. Yeah, it has to be, and that's why when people ask and say, "What can we do to start?" The very first thing I say is start talking to your neighbors.
Exactly.
Start having those conversations. Bring them to these neighborhoods and show them and say, "This is what's possible." Rolling down that ninth pathway there, what is that called? The nine line.
Yeah.
The 9 line. And see the vibrancy that happens in the evenings, out there on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Yeah.
You got, it's that combination of, talk with people, but then also share visuals, videos, et cetera, and then show them in person too.
It's definitely on my list to bring some of the naysayers that are maybe a bit higher up and just come down to the 9 line and just hang out in the
Come
Central
hang
9th
with
district.
me, man. Let's meet for let's meet for a beverage of some sort and
let's go sit
check
right
it
on
out.
the trail and let's just watch and see what's happening here.
Yeah. On a hot day like this, let's go have some ice cream or something.
Yeah, it's nothing to be scared of. Everyone's enjoying themselves.
Exactly. And let's continue our roll down past these wonderful traffic calming, and right on cue, a driver comes through here going 10 miles per hour.
Yeah, I would say 10.
I mean, this is beautiful. This is what makes basically a slightly oversized residential street, an all ages and abilities street.
Exactly.
A street for people.
Yep.
All right. I think we should roll through it because we're people and this is a street for us.
Yeah. So you really see, like, if you come through here at this time of day, especially on a nice day, but there's just so many people just out, like walking their dog, like a lot of people walking really.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course you saw some of the bike traffic too, so it's good.
Final thoughts, Troy.
Yeah, well, I think if you're watching this, you're probably already pretty into these things, but if you haven't made the jump yet, like John said, just go out and connect with your neighbors. If there are some projects like this, just go and slow roll through them and see who you run into. Like I saw someone who was looking at us, like, oh, there's people slowly biking and videoing on our street. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
But just get outside, get more involved with your community organizations. There's some great people that are actually like doing a bunch of things that are completely voluntary. I know people who are just out picking up trash.
Yeah.
And she just goes out and she's picking up trash all the time. And I run into her and say hi.
Yeah.
But it's really about trying to build on this kind of grassroots movement. And
Speaking of which, let's pull up right here by this chicane.
Yeah, and
because we can see that this one got adopted.
Yeah, So they took out the kind of ugly stones and or switched it over to, looks like pumice.
Yeah, it looks like it's a slightly different lava rock. They've got some planters in here.
Squash.
Literally a squash and some marigolds planted here. And yeah, I love this as an example. The other thing that's really cool about these chicanes, if you look at them very closely, you'll see along the gutter pan there, we've got a little bit of a stormwater runoff treatment. It does serve as like a little bit of a rain garden approach. I'm assuming that this has been depaved underneath it. Maybe it hasn't been.
Not sure.
If it hasn't been, then that's a great opportunity, and that's what Tucson is teaching us right now, is take the opportunity to depave underneath your chicanes, underneath your traffic circles. Give some of that stormwater a chance to percolate back into the water table, make it a little bit more of a healthy environment all the way.
Exactly.
Relieve some of that stress and pressure on your stormwater management,
and then you can
create a truly sweet street here.
Build up some more, I mean, this is big enough to fit a tree in it.
Yeah,
right?
Oh yeah. Let's get another street tree in
It'll depend
here.
if there's anything under here, of course. But if there isn't, then
if there isn't, there's a little bit of stormwater. You can see that there's a sewer thing there, so there's a little bit of utility work here. So maybe not a tree, but you can certainly plant some stuff with shallower root systems in this area. Yeah. Fantastic. Troy, this has been such an honor and pleasure having a chance to meet you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the channel and watching my content. I really do appreciate that. Final words. Any words of wisdom or encouragement for cities around the globe that want to get something started like Sweet Streets?
Yeah, I think I'll just echo again to just get more involved and talk to your neighbors more. Get out in the streets, we have some fun events that just take place. Just see if you can find some of those and take part in those and meet other people doing similar types of things. Yeah.
How do you stay positive?
I just go out here and go on the good parts of the infrastructure and go on those events and just chat with people and just enjoy being outside. Yeah. There's always some small setbacks. It's the way things go. It's never just straight up, right? Yeah. There's always some little dips, but you just have to keep going and also try to promote a positive message and get other people to kind of see what you're seeing. Yeah.
Don't do it all by yourself.
Exactly. Definitely don't do it by yourself. Yeah. Definitely have a group of people. And just trying to set things up like that and just anchor out the kind of grassroots movement. Yeah.
Well, this has been fantastic. Troy Saltiel, thank you so much. Again, right up top here. Boom, thank you.
Yeah, great talking to you, John.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this ride-along interview with Troy Saltiel from the Sweet Streets program there in Salt Lake City. And if you did, please, hey, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and share it with a friend. And if you haven't done so already, I'd be honored to have you subscribe to the Active Towns channel right here on YouTube. Just click on that subscription button down below and be sure to ring that notifications bell. And if you're enjoying this content here on the Active Towns channel, please consider supporting my efforts by becoming an Active Towns ambassador. Hey, super easy to do right here on YouTube. Just click on the join button down below. You can also leave a YouTube super thanks here, or you can navigate over to activetowns.org. Click on the support tab at the top of the page, and there's several different options, including making a donation to the nonprofit. You can buy me a coffee, as well as you can become a Patreon supporter. Patrons do get early and ad-free access to all my video content. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, you'll probably really get a lot out of the Tucson videos that I promoted, so just click on the link for that. And of course, I need to send a huge shout out to all my Active Towns ambassadors supporting the channel via YouTube Super Thanks, YouTube memberships, Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, and making donations to the nonprofit. Hey, I simply could not produce this content without your support. Thank you all so very much. Mahalo nui loa. Well, until next time, this is John signing off by wishing you much activity, health, and happiness. Cheers.